There are different frustrations that we've tried to remove from drum corps members, such as how do I work out in my dorm room and do it in a practical way? Well,
Yeah.
got some tools for that. Or if I have access to a gym, whether that's on my college campus or whether that's going to a local gym like a Planet Fitness or Anytime Fitness, how do I utilize that equipment? And so the video series is made to get people who may or may not have any experience with that really comfortable with it, doing fitness training that applies exercise science principles back to what we call the FIT principle: the frequency you exercise, the intensity you exercise at, the type of exercise you do, and the time you put your body under strain. FITT, FIT principle. A lot of the injuries that we see are lower body, and especially at the high school level, there are a lot of students who come in with poor shoe choices, whether that is Crocs or Hey Dudes or flip-flops or Converse, things that don't have support that they need for marching band. Bob O'Brien at Drill Master and I have been working on this project for 2 years to create a more athletic marching band shoe.
Everybody, it's Tim Hinton, the beast of the marching arts. We're talking about marching health today with Dr. Elliot Cleveland. Elliot, how are you?
I'm doing great, Tim. How are you?
It's good. It's been a while since I talked to you, so it's exciting to reconnect. And man, there is a lot exciting stuff going on with marching health. So congrats on all the growth of all the stuff you're doing.
Thank you very much. That's probably been why we haven't been able to talk in so long. It's been a very busy last 2 or 3 years.
Well, it's really exciting. You know, I recently re-released our first conversation ever as a podcast, just because I was going back saying, well, what's some conversations I had that I thought were really, really helpful? Well, you were talking about how you were working with Wando High School. You were first starting these sort of concepts of how to keep them healthier and how to help them not get injured and be healthier during the season. And you've turned this now into this giant, wonderful thing that is helping so many people. And I feel like it's just really a testament to not only the great work that you and your whole team have been doing, but really there was a need for this.
Yes. And I've been thinking about that a lot this year, how long ago that was. It's starting to make me feel old. But your podcast was literally the first one we were ever on back in, and we started probably talking 2017. That was probably early 2018 when we released it.
Probably so, yeah.
Most people in the band world right now may not have even known we existed back then. They just think it's always been this way, and it is not. This is really still a new thing in the grand scheme of the marching arts ecosystem.
Yeah, but what's cool about it to me, Elliot, is like you were there in the trenches, working with the kids on the field, figuring out, oh wow, like this, these clarinet kids this keeps happening to their knees, and over here these kids keep dropping out and don't have the stamina. Like you were figuring out sort of the concepts that we already knew that they were there, but then you were like, okay, let's create a logical way to help people fix these problems.
Yeah, and I was the first one to do it. I'm just blessed that no one had done the thing I wanted to do. It was what I loved, and it was the skill set I was developing, getting my doctorate in physical therapy at the time. And that was just the perfect storm of the need being there and being able to solve that need for an activity that's worldwide at this point. So, and then we're blessed to keep going and keep growing over the last 8 years. It's taken a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of tough moments, but I've learned that everything worth doing is on the other side of difficult, and pushing through those moments is really the secret sauce. There is no hack, right? You know this. You're one of the most consistent podcasters that I've ever seen and content creators. It's every week, every Monday. I know I'm getting a letter from Tim Hinton. There's no secret. It is consistency and pushing through with the determination to make it happen.
Well, thank you. Yes, and thank you for the nice compliments. And yes, it's sort of a grind, but it's also like sort of for you something I like to do. Like I love having conversations. I love doing interviews. I love asking questions and helping get information out to people. And you're like a great example of that very thing that I love seeing. Whenever I talk to someone and you realize that, like, wow, all the stars aligned. I think the universe has a great way of doing this for people. You know what I mean? Like the stars align. Like, oh, I've got this chiropractic health thing going on, and man, I love marching band and drum corps and stuff. And then like it all lines up, and you realize, oh wow, here's this pathway that I never ever imagined that I'm like perfectly prepared and positioned to help move forward. And I just love your story as a great example of that. So everybody, if you're listening, you never know where you're going to end up. Just keep pursuing the things you love and the things you're interested in, and try to get really, really good at all those things. And then, like Dr. Cleveland here, you might find yourself somewhere you never expected doing really helpful work. So Elliot, you guys have this big partnership with Drum Corps International, which I think is really exciting. Tell me about that.
Yeah, we've been working on it. I've been working with Drum Corps since the first weekend Marching Health launched back in 2017. The first thing I did was go straight to Carolina Crown after graduating with my doctorate from the Medical University of South Carolina, and spend a weekend with them, got to know their needs, and really where we could start to bridge some of the gaps. There were medical providers in Drum Corps, obviously, but creating a way to reach Drum Corps members at scale was important to us, and get them preventative injury prevention information, fitness information, and health information in the preseason, and be able to carry plans out throughout the season was one of the passions and projects we wanted to work on. As the new CEO, Nate Boudreau's, worked in over the last couple of years, he reached out to me this spring and wanted to firm up first hear what we did and what we could help Drum Corps with. And then those conversations escalated pretty quickly into what can we offer DCI as a whole. And number one, the easy stuff is making sure that every Drum Corps has our Couch to Core workout, our Ultimate Drum Corps workout, and the overall Drum Corps injury prevention and fitness plans that we have built over the last 8 years. And those are resources we're making available to all Drum Corps for free. We also want to work on getting more sports medicine professionals and healthcare professionals involved in the Drum Corps activity. That's the biggest need right now. And that is number one from DCI's perspective. It's something that I've helped assemble medical teams for Drum Corps. I've helped in the hiring processes, but that changes every year. And we need all the help we can get, from creating the infrastructure to get people's attention, get healthcare professionals' attention that Drum Corps exists and that there's a need here, and then be able to get those who are available to serve in volunteer roles or serve in paid roles, get them in touch with the Drum Corps who have needs. And there are a lot of barriers to that, that I know you and MK are going to get into some of the weeds of that. But I will just say that from a recruiting perspective, if you know athletic trainers, if you know nurses, if you know doctors who are interested in participating in Drum Corps from a medical perspective, please reach out to us. That is one of our biggest goals for 2026, is to make sure we have more healthcare professionals available.
Yeah, and what a great opportunity for like a young trainer to get this hands-on experience. I mean, we have people being really physical, having all kinds of interesting issues perhaps that they need to help them solve as they're trying to stay healthy during the season. And yes, I have a conversation with MK from Marching Health coming up, which I think by the time this airs, it will already be on our website at Marching Arts Education or on our YouTube channel. So everybody check that out, because we're talking about Drum Corps athletic trainers, how they're recruited, what they do, that kind of thing, which I think will be a really, really interesting conversation. Yeah. So you have this partnership with DCI. I love that you're sort of helping to expand, get the right people to the right corps at the right times. Also, one of the things you mentioned in passing was the sort of preseason or off-season preparation stuff. And this is something that I feel like band directors listening or instructors listening, they need to make sure they're aware of this, because the trick seems to be doing the work beforehand to get the students ready. You know, I mean, Elliot, come on. I came from a time where everybody showed up the first day of band camp and you hadn't really even sitting on the couch watching cartoons or eating Doritos or whatever. And not me, of course. I was out there moving around. But, this is typically how kids show up, and then they're not ready for all the activity. So there's a lot of sort of off season, or should I say winter schedule for drum corps, where they're getting ready. They have assignments and physical things they have to learn to do.
Yeah, and we do the same thing for marching bands, but the drum corps version of this starts at audition camps. And we have our Couch to Core workout program that's for free for all drum corps members. That's a 6-week plan that is what is in the name. If you have not ever done drum corps, especially from a physical perspective, we take you from couch potato level to being able to handle a drum corps audition camp or a winter camp in drum corps. Then we also have a couple of different buckets we give drum corps. One is our ultimate drum corps workout. That is for those who are elevated and have graduated from the couch to core plan. They're not beginner level anymore. They're ready for our 12-week, very intense physical fitness and conditioning curriculum. That's a sweet PDF and video series that we've had available since 2018, 2019. Couch to Core was one of the first things we ever created back in 2018 for a handful of drum corps, and we've been tweaking it ever since then, trying to make it as practical as possible. There are different frustrations that we've tried to remove from drum corps members, such as how do I work out in my dorm room and do it in a practical way? Well,
Yeah.
got some tools for that. Or if I have access to a gym, whether that's on my college campus or whether that's going to a local gym like a Planet Fitness or Anytime Fitness, how do I utilize that equipment? And so the video series is made to get people who may or may not have any experience with that really comfortable with it, doing fitness training that applies exercise science principles back to what we call the FIT principle: the frequency you exercise, the intensity you exercise at, the type of exercise you do, and the time you put your body under strain. FITT, FIT principle. It is how we move each of those levers to make your body physically ready for the drum corps activity. And the workouts we have time out at spring training. Then we have some spring training resources available for drum corps that we partner with as well, to make sure members go in physically prepared and then have the staff have the knowledge to be able to take them to the next level and utilize that fitness on the field during their drum corps show.
Man, do I love all of that. That is such a great resource, Elliot. And I got to tell you, I write blog posts about this all the time. Like, if you decided you want to get into shape, and then people are terrified, or they go in and they hurt themselves because they don't know what they're doing. And I'm always like, find a resource to learn how to do it right? So maybe hire a trainer, get a friend that knows how to work out to show you the ropes. Or here you're talking about something where you can watch this series that you've prepared, and it helps guide people through. Because what I hate, Ellie, is when somebody gets excited about trying to get into shape, and then they go in the gym and they don't know what they're doing and they hurt themselves and they quit.
Yep. And then that further cascades chronic pain or sedentary lifestyle or fear of exercise as a whole.
Yes, absolutely. So I love that you do this. So, all right. So you're saying all of this in the drum corps context. If I'm a band director or an instructor and I want to try to use some of these resources with my band students, is there a separate curriculum for them, or is it the same?
Yes. So it is a more beginner version for the marching band level. Obviously, marching bands, high school marching bands, typically don't have the physical age that a lot of the drum corps do. The average drum corps age is higher than your marching band age. So they also don't have the physical development at the same level. What we do for our high school bands, our college bands, and our drum corps is all separate based on that physical development and need. The high school band resources, you can check this out on our website or YouTube page. We have our 7 mistakes every marching band makes with training, which is first, you got to know what mistakes you're making so that you know how to pivot and correct those mistakes. Then we have the resources to follow that up on everything from what should the first 5 minutes of rehearsal look like? How do you run a dynamic stretch or a dynamic warm-up? And then literally, what is our dynamic stretch? It's been out there. I think Tim and I recorded that back in 2018 and put it out for the masses to have access to, because we want you to be able to know how to use your body, how to move your body, and how to get it prepared for marching activity. Then we have our back to band resource that we created, a 6-week workout program that's total body, that is made for the 6 weeks between end of school and start of band camp, with maybe a week vacation planned in there too, lets you
Sure.
span it out. But it is very practical, and the goal is to get your members moving and to do fun challenges with it. So band directors can have maybe a sectional or give it to section leaders, and those section leaders meet and take their students through it. Or maybe they have an online or social media challenge to see who's doing their off-season workouts. Then our actual bread and butter is our 15-minute marching band workout. This is what we built in 2015, 2016 with Wando, and then took to the national stage in 2017 and 2018. And it spread like wildfire. This is a 5-minute dynamic warm-up and a 10-minute or less workout that rotates in skills and in needs that your performers have. The first day, we call it Mobility Monday. We teach your students how to move their bodies properly, how to really understand body carriage and what proprioception is. So your body's awareness of where it is in space, and how from a physiological perspective, we can use simple exercises every band can do to start each rehearsal to improve that. Then we have a 3-day rotation that we call Muscle Endurance Day. Depending on what day of the week your second rehearsal is, if it's Tuesday, we give it the mnemonic Tone Tuesday, or if it's Wednesday, we call it Workout Wednesday. That is a typically about 8-minute workout that starts from the ground up. We build your shin muscles, which are often ignored in the marching band world, but necessary for roll stepping, calves. Then we work up into the quads, hamstrings, hips. Then we get the core and shoulders engaged for core activation and stability when you're holding your instrument, and the upper body strength to counteract the weight of your instrument that is in front of you. The final day is cardio day, and that is not just go run a mile, not go run until we tell you your timer goes off or we tell you to stop. It is cardio in time to music and with breathing exercises on top of that. So that from a neurophysiological perspective, brain connects to spinal cord, sends signals to your muscles to engage the proper muscles and be able to exhale through your instrument as you move across the field in time to your show music. We actually, for the first month, do not move while we do that. You learn how to jog in place in time. So the bands that do this get timing a lot better and a lot quicker. And then their students learn how to put air through their horn on the move a lot faster. And then month 2, we start to put things on the move. And month 3, there's second and third phases, one for each month of the season, that progresses in intensity type of exercise and becomes more like movement that you might see in a marching band show, where they build strength in lunges, strength in pliés, that type of activity that's necessary for the next level of marching.
Man, I love it. And I know that the world of marching, band and drum corps and all of it, winter season 2, I'm sure that there are statistics showing that injuries are down, strength is up, marchers are healthier. And I want to thank you for all of this. That's just amazing. I can't imagine that a band staff or band director wouldn't want to take advantage of these resources. It's really cool. Now, you are constantly looking for the next thing that people need help with, or like what's not really working out there in the marching world that we can help make. I guess you're solving problems, Elliot, which I love. And so there's something about a new shoe. So tell me about this, because I love that. Like this, that makes perfect sense that you would think about this, but I didn't know this was happening.
High school level, there are a lot of students who come in with poor shoe choices, whether that is Crocs or Hey Dudes or flip-flops or Converse, things that don't have support that they need for marching band. And beginning of college career, working in rack room shoes in the summer times to pay for my one summer of drum corps. And I went back there 2022 or 2023, talked to the manager, it's still the same manager from back when I was in high school. I said, hey, Miss Alfreda, can I go over here and film some videos for social media? She said, sure, do whatever you want. So I grabbed a Converse, had my phone just in selfie mode, took it and twisted it heel to toe like a Twizzler, and said, if your shoes can twist like a Twizzler, they are not supportive enough for marching band. Shoes on each social media platform. And it was just, what's the easiest way to think about this? And how can we make that digestible to the 8th grader coming into marching band? And Drill Master caught wind of that video, and we just started a dialogue. And so Bob O'Brien at Drill Master and I have been working on this project for 2 years to create a more athletic marching band shoe. And there are one or two out there, but we wanted something that's going to blend the style that a lot of marching bands look for in terms of their uniform and a hybrid between a traditional uniform shoe and an athletic shoe, but also have the performance of a high-end athletic shoe. And I'm putting my money and efforts where my mouth is. I went and ran a 5K in these shoes this past weekend and set my personal best.
Okay, in the
So,
band shoe. Well, in the shoe that's been developed for our athletic marchers.
yes. So it,
Well, congrats
I
on your
do
personal
think that,
best.
do what?
Congrats on your personal best,
Yeah,
Dr.
thank you. Oh,
Cleveland.
I
That's
was huffing
amazing.
and puffing. The last mile and a half of that was not good from a technique perspective, but I did it. I need to work on my cardio a little bit.
But like you said, the shoe held up. It worked.
Oh, the shoe held up. The shoe was fantastic. Actually, it felt great. And actually, the more miles I've been putting on it, the better it's felt. So, um, it is something we wanted to. One, we had to get it mass manufactured, so you can't manufacture unless you have 7,000 pairs ready to order. So we did that this spring. We got the first factory complete ones in, and this is one of that first batch. And they're holding up great. I'm heat testing them. I'm putting them on the asphalt in 100 degrees in South Carolina, making sure that the chemical bond is what we need it to be, and that they're not too hot. They're breathable. And then we put a small carbon fiber plate in the arch that gives a little bit of extra spring, not like a full foot carbon fiber plate. We're not going that route. It is just in the arch to make sure that it resists torsion that I talked about with that Twizzler shoe. And then it also gives a little bit of extra, very small amount of push into the roll step. So we're pretty excited about this project, and I'm trying to get the word out there as much as possible.
I did not even know this was happening, so I think it's very cool. And I have to tell you though, it makes perfect sense to me. I've done podcast conversations about shoes that were recommended for marchers and for the drum corps season. But yeah, considering how athletic and considering that we're talking so much about sort of support and body movement, it makes sense that the shoe would be a critical piece.
Yeah, we want you supported from the ground up.
Okay, so you're solving the world's problem with marching shoes. Do you have any other projects going on? I really am interested. Like, you have so much going on. Tell me what else you're working on.
Yeah, I was in a concierge physical therapy job last 4 years and left that last May before our national tour kicked off. When we last spoke, Tim, that we doubled that summer in marching out clinics and impact. And one of the big things we did from a clinical perspective was combine forces with Premier Sports Psychology, the top mental performance psychology firm in the country. Lambert Leadership, Bobby Lambert teaching leadership, Clark Cothran's Marching University, and then Michael Rosales is the Breakdown Camp for choreography and dance skills. And we started doing combination clinics with these other big time educators in the space to be able to make a bigger impact when we go in. And it became a school district or a multi-school event where a handful of schools, typically the number's four schools getting involved or more, we've had upwards of 15, come together and do student leadership and staff professional development clinics, where we take these student leaders, teach them all of our workout systems, health programs, and leadership concepts, and then have that other professional in the building to either add the mental health, mental performance piece, or the choreography, what's the next level of movement past the workouts, or marching like Marching University does, and how do we apply the fitness side to marching so that your body and brain learn to connect those things. And that really exploded over the last 3 summers in terms of the impact we're able to make in one clinic and have those bands take it back to start changing the culture in band rooms. And then the professional development side was pretty awesome as well, because band directors got everything they never learned in music education school from those professionals, which anytime we go out after getting a degree, you are entry level. You have the first step in taking that professional career on track, but there's a lot to learn. So we wanted to give you all the other pieces to that. Last summer, I actually, after the marching band season was done, launched the Movement Doctors, my wife and I. She also has her doctorate in physical therapy. She was a former college drum major,
Cool.
high school drum major, and clarinet player. And we wanted to give a physical location for any band directors or marching band members to get treated for injuries, because we had all the local counties under contract with Marching Health doing the Marching Health workouts, but injuries still occur. You can't stop them as a whole. You can't, field conditions are bad, or if somebody misses a set and they run into each other, cause a collision, there's still going to be accidents that happen. So we've had a lot of members locally come in for treatment at our sports physical therapy clinic. We've signed a lot of name, image, and likeness deals to college athletes and pro athletes and had them in there as well. And it's really become a whole community, upstate South Carolina, place for community. The Clemson star running back hilariously gave a public shout out in one of his therapy sessions with me over the fact that he played clarinet in middle school. And the thing that gets him pumped up every practice is the fact that he can hear Tiger Band practicing at the same time. And that music is in his head when he is out, sweating, working hard every day on the football field. And that blew up in the upstate South Carolina community. Star running back was a clarinet player who loves Tiger Band. And so we really got to connect the dots in those two groups of people like I hadn't before. And Tiger Band took me on the field a lot last year, and it was fun to have Clemson football players on the field and Clemson's band in the stands, and to be able to celebrate with both of those groups of people. So that's been one big project that we've worked on. We've grown it. We've now got 4 doctors of physical therapy on staff. And then I've got another thing we're working on that's called...
Okay, wait, but before you jump into the next thing, which we're going to talk to you about everybody, but I want to say, I think the world needs what you're describing really badly right now, which is look at how we're all connected, everybody. Right? Like, this is what you're talking about. Like, I could be a star football player and I had a good experience in band, and music still motivates me. And I like band people and I like football people. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just one example of reminding everybody how we're all in this together. We're all very alike. We all need to pool together rather than separating. Like, I feel like this is just a nice little microcosm of this thing that's really important to me right now, which is reminding each other how similar we all are and how we're all working for the same thing. So I love that you're bringing all these worlds together. It's cool.
Yeah. And I think Gary Vaynerchuk said this. You just mentioned the word "and." That was what you repeated. It's not or, it's and. You can have both.
Yes.
You can bring both groups of people together. You don't have to separate or just do one thing in the process.
Yeah, because we're all, come on. Marching band is so athletic. So is sports. So is et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The golf team and the rugby team and everybody. Like, I just love whenever we make those connections. And I feel like you are being one of those conduits.
The thing that has blown my mind is we've done these, we've got all these college athletes. So we've got a dozen Clemson football players coming into our physical therapy studio, same time as band members on adjacent treatment tables, basically.
Cool.
And the football players have started going with me to local football teams where I've built relationships, and now the exact same student leadership content that I have taught in the marching band room, I am teaching to the football team, and they need it just as bad. Yeah. They're asking all the same questions. They're dealing with the exact same problems in the locker room that you deal with in the band room. And their strategy, their whole setup is just different names and labels on coaches or positions that they're playing than we have instructors or instruments, but it's the same.
Yeah.
And we all need that.
Yeah, no, the concepts of leadership or getting along or being a team member, like this is all, and this is what I'm saying is I love that you're helping to connect dots for people. And I want to remind everybody that might be listening to this, like, let's continue each of us to connect those dots, right? And you need to do it in your own community, in your own school. Like if you're not getting along well with that football coach team, then you need to solve that problem. Like let's all get along in our own environment, much less in our own community, much less in our own state, much less, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so you were starting to talk about, you got another thing in the works, Elliot? Come on. How do you ever sleep? I can tell you
that's
you still have a young one around the house?
I got 2 now.
Oh my God. Of course you do. That's great. All right, so you're being a dad, you're doing this. All right, so tell me, I love this. What's the new idea?
Well, yeah, super dad and super husband. Those are the number 1 and 2 priorities for me.
Sure.
But another thing that we have started working on over the last 2 years, we've now got 2 hours worth of content on it and have presented it to 3 different school district and their band directors during professional development days, is Band Director Business School. This is the first time I'm saying this publicly. I've done it in these private sessions, but I've been thinking about this is how all of this has evolved from 2017 when Tim and I first spoke until now. I would do one thing, get it right, make sure it works on a scalable level, and that many groups can implement it at a high level. Then what is the next thing that they're asking for? Or what is the next thing that they need and they may not know how to ask for?
Right.
So that's where the partnerships with other groups came in, where we added psychology, we added choreography, we added more leadership training. And then past that, I started to think, well, what do they really need? They don't necessarily need me to reinvent the wheel from a workout perspective. They just need to do and be consistent with the workouts that they're given. The band programs really need executive leadership and business coaching. The band directors are CEOs of six-figure nonprofit organizations.
Okay.
And I guarantee no one in their music education curriculum told them that.
Oh, of course. No, I mean, I've had multiple conversations over the years about the need for band directors, and you don't learn these skills.
No.
Suddenly you're trying to figure out how to deal with boosters and create a budget and et cetera, et cetera.
Yep.
I love this. So what are you doing? What's it going to be?
So Band Director Business School helps you. One, the takeaway is you leave that session and you can go raise $10,000 that afternoon. That's the tangible thing that everybody loves to hear, right? And I say that seriously. The band directors who have left that session went out, had their student leaders do the fundraising. They didn't even do it. And the student leaders came back with $10,000.
Okay, and now people are listening.
It was this easy? So we work on all the layers of business. So I've been fortunate, been blessed to be able to build these two businesses in Marching Health and the Movement Doctors. And there's, in a 101 version of business, there's 3 layers. Marketing is number 1. People can't do business with you if they don't know who you are. People cannot support your band program if they don't know who you are. And a lot of us, and I say us, back to that and conversation we just had, physical therapist, I'm a physical therapist. They don't teach you how to market yourself in physical therapy school. They teach you how to keep patients alive, how to not hurt them, how to get them stronger and help them recover from injuries. And that applies in the band world too. They don't teach you marketing in your music ed curriculum most of the time. Some of you may have been lucky. You might have gotten it. So we talk about what is marketing. Marketing is relationship building. And there's different ways of doing that. If you take marketing as a whole, take that relationship building and make a circle. Now let's turn it basically into a bicycle wheel. There are spokes on a bicycle wheel. Each one of those spokes represents a different way to build a relationship with someone and a different way to stay in touch with them. So one spoke on that wheel might be what we call in-person relationships. Tim, can I just give the whole...
No, go for it. I think this is interesting.
We're going to go to Band Director Business School today on this podcast.
No, I mean, we're talking about all the stuff that Dr. Elliot Cleveland is doing, and this is interesting. And I think people are leaning in and listening to this because I can tell you, Elliot, I deal with band directors in my own personal business all the time, and they are horrible at this. So keep going. No offense, everybody, but let's own it. Let's own it. We don't know this.
I did not come today with the full curriculum at hand, so I'm going to go off the cuff. Here we are. We got the spokes.
Well, just lay out as much of it as you want to convince people to keep paying attention. That's really what we need to do.
On that wheel, let's call spoke number 1 emails. I want you to develop a healthy relationship with your email because that is an easy way to stay in touch with current members, their parents, your boosters, alumni, because that's got to become your base of support long-term, and local businesses. So email is one spoke. Social media is another. I've had many band directors say, I just don't get social media, or I just have a student go run it. Well, social media is an extension of your marketing message. If you're just doing social media, you're probably not doing it well. You need to have a very solid marketing message. And each spoke that we go through on this wheel is just a way of transmitting that. It's a medium to get your marketing message out. So email's there, social media is here, in-person marketing, performance events, speaking to other teachers, or doing music educator conferences or events. Those are all different areas of the wheel here. Reaching out to your local chamber of commerce or Rotary clubs and speaking in public to local business owners and influencers in your community. Those are the spokes on your marketing wheel. You need to have a very clear message of what you do, why you do it, and who you serve. The more clear you are, the more that's going to resonate with the right people. And so we want to make sure you double down on the ideal audience you are trying to serve. And when I say double down on this, we're going to create an avatar of who you are trying to serve. There's a couple of different people. One is the student. So I want you to think about this. Who is the band student in your program you wish you had 10 more of right now? I want you to draw a stick figure of that person. And you're going to list out what's their name, what's their age, where are they from, what's their family life like, what do they do for fun when they're not at band, why do they do marching band, why do they stay in your band program, what pieces do they love to play, what classes are they in, emotionally, what does this person struggle with, what are their insecurities that you know because you watch them every day, what do they do for work, do they have a job outside of band? I want you to be so clear on who your ideal band student is and write it down, because your marketing message, the message you give when you go speak to the middle schoolers, is going to be geared toward that student. Because I say, which band student do you wish you had 10 of? You're going to make 10 of them. Where there's one, there's 5 to 10 more. Birds of a feather flock together. That person you're going to ask, once you build a strong relationship with them, which you probably already have, who else do you know who would benefit or who would love to do band? And they're going to pull in 2 of their best friends in 8th grade or 2 of their best friends in 9th grade or 10th grade and add them to your band program. That's how you exponentially multiply getting the right students in your band program. Now, you need to know what that student's goals were. And then we need to go to a level above, create an avatar of the ideal band parent.
Sure, same process.
Same exact process. What does that band parent do for work? What does that band parent do for fun? What is their thoughts on education? What are their personal, beliefs about the education system? Really dig in to what their deeper struggles are. How many kids do they have? What are they struggling with as a human being or as a parent or as a professional that you can help? What needs can you help meet? I'm always thinking, Tim and I have talked about this. What problems can we solve? There are 10 problems facing you right now that you are not seeing that you can solve. And if those are for your ideal band parent or your ideal band student, and you just start thinking through this process, well, what does that band member like to do? What does that band parent like to do? Okay, well, maybe I can talk to them about that thing. Or as you start thinking about this, you realize that band parent has supported me for 3 years. They've donated thousands of dollars and hundreds of hours to this band program, and I don't know what they like to do for fun. You might feel it for a second emotionally and realize how much you need to send that person a thank you. And then maybe just get coffee with them.
Right, but your point is clearly that if you know who you're talking to, then your message is very clear and you're not wasting time figuring out, what do I say? This all informs it. So how are you going to present this? If I love these ideas and I want to learn this stuff, how is this going to be presented?
Yeah,
is it something online or is it something a clinic? Like, how are you going to do it?
Both. So first, just getting the information out there in video format, utilizing the similar methods that we've had. And then we've already been doing it for school districts as professional development, speaking to the band directors themselves and making sure that, like, from a dreamer's perspective as a band director, what would you do if you had another $100,000 in the bank for your band? Because the next level of this, level 1's marketing. We talked about the student and we talked about the director. Who's your ideal donor?
Okay.
And you create the ideal avatar of that person.
Well, and you're also talking about having a vision for where you want to go. And I think a lot of times directors, we talk about have a 5-year plan, have a 10-year plan. Where do you want to go? I don't think directors often take time for this. I think they're so overwhelmed.
Yeah. And I would actually encourage you to make it smaller. So I don't go on 5 and 10s. I go on 3s. Sure. What's your big, hairy, audacious goal for your band program in 3 years? Make 5 of them. Write them out. Once you write these just ridiculous goals, that they look ridiculous when you write them down. The next step is to write the micro goals that have to happen to make that goal achievable. So one of the 3-year goals we accomplished, as I said, back in 2019, when we were first, say we'd done 3 summers of Marching Health, I said, what would it be like to do 50 live clinics? That was just a far-fetched goal at the time for me. And then I sat there and realized, well, if I need to do 50 clinics, here's how many clinicians we need to do that. Here's what our marketing has to be by February of that year to make sure that May, June, and July have 50 clinics on the books. And then you just work backwards. You do this all the time as a band director, as a teacher. Just like you write up your curriculum for the year and you write up your teaching plans, you have to write up what are the business plans of this nonprofit organization that you are the CEO of. And the more you get that mindset that I'm a CEO, and you at first might get imposter syndrome about that, but you are, and you uniquely have the skill set to be that person, you're constantly developing those skills. And what do we need to do to get there? So the first one is marketing. The second one is sales. And I mean that in a positive way. Sales is service. You as a band director are constantly selling students on being part of your program. You're constantly selling to band parents that the best thing they can do for their kids is music education. Now, how do you also sell to your community that supporting music education financially is one of the best things for the community and your local society as a whole? And what does that package need to look like? Now we go back to that marketing message on who's your ideal donor. You need to know who are the top 10 local businesses I want to walk into and get sponsorship from. And in the process of doing that, you realize actually 5 of those were not good fits for us. 3 of those were maybes and 2 of those were yeses. I need to double down on who those 2 at the top are. What does that business owner struggle with? What is that business owner frustrated by? What have other nonprofits done poorly when they've asked for donations? Maybe it's that they haven't said thank you. Maybe it's that they didn't show a after effects of you donating to my band. How did that impact my band long term? And didn't get any sort of return on investment in the process. So you can just ask a simple question. What are your expectations for us if you support us? What do you need back in return? And what does success look like for a relationship that you want to support in the local community?
Yeah.
And they'll very clearly tell you exactly what they want. And if that lines up, great. If it doesn't line up, my favorite line ever is when you go in to ask for a donation, you say, hey, we're from the blah, blah, blah band program. We're doing this fundraiser to support us going to our First Bands of America regional. Can we talk to your manager or talk to your owner to see if you would be the right fit to support our band? Not everyone is the right fit to donate to your band.
Right.
And you don't want the ones that aren't. You want to exclude them. The ones that drive you nuts, that cause headaches, that send late emails, that ask way too much and are high maintenance, we're going to have an elimination process. And you're only going to get the donors and the supporters and the people from your community that are going to give you $10,000 easier than anyone else.
You clearly thought this through. What I'm reacting to right now, Elliot, is I can see that a director is listening to this and he's like, man, this is all really good. I can totally see how this would help me, but I don't think I have the time or bandwidth to do this. So I wanted to sort of quickly address that as we're starting to wrap this up a little bit. But I feel like in my life, when I have convinced myself that it was worthwhile to take that 10 minutes and plan my day, make my list of things I need to do, that I do know that was not time wasted to sort of have a plan, map it out. So I feel like that's something I want to say to people is don't be overwhelmed by how in the world do I add this to my already ridiculously busy life as a band director or instructor. And I would just say learning these skills saves you time in the end, right?
Oh, 100%. The end goal here is that we teach you how to repeat all this. And even better, we teach your student leaders and your boosters how to do it so you don't have to.
Right. So you're just putting it into place and starting the motion rolling in a more productive way. That I can get around. And I just want to remind everybody, take a deep breath and know that this is something you can do if you have the guidance. So Elliot, this is totally worthwhile, helpful stuff. And people are going to be able to access this at your website ultimately or something?
Long term, we're months from actually putting it out there publicly. This is the intro crash course right here, Tim.
I
This is the
love it.
first
No, but it's
release.
something, if I'm interested in this, which I think a lot of people will be,
Yeah.
then I'm going to start paying attention. And I'm going to
Just reach out to me. Shoot me an
just,
email,
yeah,
Elliot at
just,
marchinghealth.com. And I think the easiest way, like you said, to make this non-invasive into a band director's brain space right now or schedule is they always have professional development that is a waste of time. Get us in there on your professional development day and tell your fine arts director they're not going to have to worry about money if they book this session.
oh, yeah, I love it. So you're doing great work.
Thank you.
I know you're being super dad and super spouse, but like, I'm glad that you are finding time and that you have the bandwidth to work on these things for our little world in such a profound way. It's got to feel good that you know that you're helping people do better and solve problems.
Yes, that's our main focus is what can we do to serve the community that's been able to give so much to us and all the lessons we've learned in marching band and the band world along the way.
Well, to go back where we started, we're recording this during drum corps season, and then marching season was going to come really soon after. All those marchers, hopefully, who can take advantage of your resources are going to be healthier, have a better experience. Nobody will be sitting on the sideline with a turned ankle, all that stuff that we want to try to avoid. So it's awesome. You're doing great stuff.
Thank you very much, Tim.
Anything you want to say as we're wrapping up this conversation?
Yeah, if you've got questions, whatever questions you have, because I know some of that probably might have been overwhelming information, or might have sparked a thought, just email me. Elliot at ELLIOT, 2 L's, 1 T, Elliot at marchinghealth.com. And we're thrilled. The thing we didn't talk about is the fact that we have a new director of health and wellness, MK Campbell. She'll be on here soon. We tease that out there. Tune back in because you're going to want to listen to all the different perspectives that she brings to the table and how she's going to elevate marching health for years to come.
Yeah, absolutely. So look for that, everybody. MK Campbell talking to me about athletic trainers for drum corps, how that works, and more about all this stuff, too, that what Marching Health is doing. Elliot, this was wonderful. Thank you for taking time to talk to me.
Thank you so much, Tim.